everyone, and today we are going to be taking a look at every single Super Smash Bros. Series Amiibo, all 95 figures. Now Sora, if you're watching this video the day it came out, Sora just came out last week, and so Sakurai and Nintendo has officially released every single Amiibo in the Super Smash Bros. Series. I have managed to, after 9 years of collecting, I've been collecting since 2015, I have been able to collect every single figure in the series. I have the complete set, I'm not missing a single one, as you can see right in front of you. And today we're going to be going through the entirety, wave by wave, all the way from wave 1, as you can see right there, in November 2014, all the way to wave 24 in February of 2024. So as you can tell, nearly 10 years worth of, nearly a 10-year run of Super Smash Bros. Series Amiibo. This was the, now if you're a Nintendo fan, you know Amiibo are those figures that you can scan into games and they give you extra stuff. Well, Smash Bros. Was the start of it all. If it wasn't for the Smash Bros. Series, the Smash Bros. Series was such a success starting out in the first couple years. If it wasn't for the success of the Smash Bros. Series, Amiibo would not exist today. And pretty crazy. So we're going to be going through all the waves. I'm going to be telling history stories. I'm going to be telling you how the Amiibo got big and how they evolved over time and how they kind of declined and how they somehow miraculously still exist today. So, we're going to go through each wave individually. So without further ado, let's get started. So now, before we get started, we're going to time travel all the way back to the year 2014. Now, for those of you guys like me that have been around that long, you'll know that in the early 2010s, about 10 years ago, gaming was going through its Toys to Life craze. Basically, in 2011, was dipping into the whole Skylanders idea, which was like the first time in history where you would have a toy scan into a game and you could play as that character in the game as the Toys to Life. A couple years later, in 2012, 2013, Disney Infinity came out, which was kind of like another wave of Toys to Life, and then a little bit afterwards you had Lego Dimensions, a little bit after Amiibo. But Nintendo decided to enter the craze in 2014 with the release of Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U, also known as Smash 4, which dropped in North America in November of 2014. And with it was the very first wave of Amiibo ever to be released, the original 12. Now, as you can see here, when Amiibo first came out, I don't think Nintendo really anticipated them to be as of a hit as they were. Nintendo obviously knew they were going to sell, but I don't think they ever intended to expand upon them outside of Smash Bros. Basically, if you've ever played Smash Bros. Before, you know that in the game, when you play as a certain character, so say I play as like Kirby, and I go through Classic mode and beat Master Hand and Crazy Hand at the end, you get an in-game trophy of your character. Well, basically, Sakurai was like, why don't we have physical trophies? These are literally the same models that Smash 4 has for their characters. And so basically what you can do in Smash Bros. You scan these into the NFC, and you can kind of like train up your own character in the game. Like your own little version, level it up all the way up to level 50, give it whatever upgrades you want, yada, 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 that kind of stuff. But Amiibo did not get crazy because of that. They got crazy because it's figures of freaking Nintendo characters. That is ingenious. So, the original 12 were released alongside Super Smash Bros. For Wii U in November of 2014. We had Mario, Peach, Samus, Yoshi, Link, Donkey Kong, Kirby, Pikachu, Fox, Wii Fit Trainer, Villager, and Marth. Now, interesting choices for the first wave of Amiibo. Wave 1 is the largest wave of Smash Bros. Amiibo ever to be released, which makes sense because they needed a lot starting out. Now, obviously, they picked the mainstays. A lot of these make sense. Mario, Link, Pikachu, Kirby, Donkey Kong, those make sense. And then you got some like Wii Fit Trainer. Now, starting out, Nintendo made quite a lot of these. Originally, if you wanted to go to the store to get Amiibo, there were a couple stores that sold them. You would have GameStop, Toys R Us, Walmart, and Target. Stores like that. And Best Buy also carried them. And so, basically, if you wanted any of these characters on launch day, you could pretty much get your hands on if you wanted to. But Nintendo knew that people were going to buy the characters that they liked. So they made a lot of Marios, a lot of Kirby's, Donkey Kong's, Pikachu's, Link's, and Yoshi's and Peach's and stuff like that. Because those are people's favorite characters. Obviously, they wanted them. After a while, people started to realize that there were shortages of Marth, Villager, and Wii Fit Trainer. And these ones started to become pretty rare. Fox and Samus got pretty rare, but nothing like these three. Now, it makes sense from a producer's standpoint. Not many people care about Wii Fit Trainer or Marth and Villager. You got to realize back in 2014, Animal Crossing wasn't nearly as big of a franchise as it is today. So they didn't make as many of these. The Villager that I have is actually the reprinted one that they made about a year later. They restocked Villager. I didn't even get my hands on the original Villager amiibo. You can tell because the original Villager had bigger eyes than this. So, but yeah, not many people care about Marth or Wii Fit Trainer. These caused these amiibo to be very rare. Now, I didn't get, now this is a little personal to me. I'm pretty young, okay? I was like 7 years old when these things came out. I'm 16 now. 10 years ago, I was 7, basically, give or take. Almost 17, but besides the point. So for my 8th birthday in 2015, which was probably 5 months down the line, I never got these amiibo when they came out. I got Smash 4 for Christmas that year, but I didn't know amiibo existed. I got Mario. This exact Mario was one of the very first amiibo I got. Peach, Smash Bros. Peach, Donkey Kong I got as well, and Yoshi. These were the 4 that I had originally, and I also had some of the Mario series ones. So I had these originally. The way I got some of these other ones is pretty interesting. So, went out to the store. I could find Link pretty easily. I don't remember him being very hard to get. Pikachu was pretty easy to get. Some of these other ones are a different story. So I remember walking out with my dad several years ago, and you're probably wondering why this Samus is kind of in bad shape. And so this was like post Wave 3 at this point. And we were going to walked into GameStop because I wanted to get some Amiibo figures, obviously see what they had. They had 2 that I did not have. And that was Sheik and Samus. And they had 1 Samus and like 3 Sheiks. I just remember looking up there behind the register. And I got Samus because Samus is a cooler character than Sheik. Turns out Samus was actually rare. One of the rarer Amiibo. So pretty cool. If you're wondering why the arm is off on Samus, is because when I was a kid, I used to play with these like they were toys, and I would always bend Samus's arm up to act like it was like shooting. Me and my sister used to play with them. My sister was like 4 years old at the time these came out, so she was like really young. And I used to like bend up as Samus's arm to look like he was shooting. And so eventually, repeatedly after doing that, the arm gun snapped off. But I do actually have a Samus amiibo in the box.
Comment, like, and subscribe. Amiibos ripped me off. We were here long before Amiibos. Shout out for Skylanders, the OGs.
So, turns out, so for those of you wondering, I actually do have a Samus amiibo in the box. I have a pretty hefty amiibo collection, if I do say so myself. This thing is dusty. But here's what Samus actually looks like in the box. So I do have a mint condition Samus. And you can see this Nintendo logo is white. And on any reprint that they've done since 2017, I believe, this logo is going to be red. So if this logo is red, you know it's a reprinted amiibo that's from 2017 or later. If it's from 2014, 2015, or 2016, this is going to be white. And therefore, it's going to be an original one. This is an original Samus amiibo. As you can tell, the only thing on the back is the Wii U. It says scan into Wii U games. It doesn't even have the 3DS on it. 2014 Nintendo. This is an original Samus printed from Smash 4 when it launched. This is an old thing. But yeah, I used to play with these as toys. And then later on, when Ultimate came out, they added amiibo support for the battle arenas. So you can use all these amiibo for both Smash 4 and Ultimate. And I used to use my Samus because this Samus was OP. This is my best amiibo that I actually have in Smash Bros. Ultimate. I think I have this upgrade. I have like, its attack stat fully up, and then I have auto heal on it. It's like you do not want to play against this thing. And it was like in between the couch cushions at one point, so we had to super glue it back onto the base. This is the only Amiibo, actually, out of all my Amiibo that I have, not just for Smash, just in general, this is probably the most beat up Amiibo that I have is this Samus. This Marth I got after we bought a collection off this guy. We spent like $300 way later on. When I first started collecting, I never had an intention of collecting all of them. I just wanted to get as many figures as I could because I just liked collecting them. And then eventually I got so many of them that's like, we might as well just try to collect them all. So that's kind of what happened. So I got that Marth from most likely that. This Wii Fit Trainer, if you're probably wondering, I think at the time Wii Fit Trainer was probably the most rare Amiibo that existed. I have a Wii Fit Trainer in the box as well here. This is also the OG. It's not in the greatest shape, but this one has the 3DS on the back, so this is not an OG. This box is not in very good shape, but it is like a 10-year-old box, so you gotta bear with it. But I got this because post Wave 6 came out. I found this guy on Craigslist. We had to drive to a Bass Pro Shop about an hour away to trade a Zero Suit Samus Amiibo for this Wii Fit Trainer. That's how I got this. So holds a special place in my heart. Wii Fit Trainer has always been one of the rarer ones. Fox, when I bought the collection off the one guy, I remember going into his house, and I was like an 8 or 9-year-old kid, and he had all of the boxed Amiibo up on the wall, and he had one out of the box, and that was this Fox. And I still have. Also, this Fox tail comes off. I don't think that's supposed to happen, but it just does. These things are old. The age is starting to get to some of these things. There's Link, and then Kirby I got a little bit later on, and then Pikachu as well. Pikachu was pretty easy to get. Pikachu and Link I got pretty easily, and Samus as well. So that is Wave 1 of Amiibo. Next up, just a month later, Nintendo was pumping these out like it was going out of style. December 2014, a month later in December, we got the next 3 Amiibo, part of Wave 2. Now, Wave 2 is pretty evenly spread out. Half of the set was considered rare, and half the set was more of common ones. You had Luigi, Diddy Kong, and Zelda were the more common ones, at least from my experience. And then Little Mac, Pit, and Captain Falcon were the 3 rarest Amiibo. So this is interesting figures here. I never really had a problem getting these 3. I don't really remember these being hard to find. I remember I got Luigi. Marlene actually got me Luigi. There's a picture of me at my older house. I don't remember where it is right now. It's on some old phone. But there's a picture of me at my old house on like the first day of 3rd grade. Me holding up this Luigi Amiibo. So, and Marlene, I think it's on her phone, so pretty cool there. Pit, I believe I probably got from that collection. And then Falcon and Little Mac. So I mentioned that collection that this guy had, which I got way later on, after like Wave 6 was out. I think Wave 6 was the newest at the time. And they had all the Smash Amiibo up to that point, keyword up to that point, except for 3. The 3 that they did not have were Villager, which I previously showed in Wave 1, Little Mac, and Captain Falcon. And so, miraculously, I don't know how this happened, but miraculously, like probably a couple weeks later, a month later, I don't really know how much longer. I don't really know how much longer it was, but we went to Toys R Us. Rest in peace, Toys R Us. Obviously, Toys R Us was a big Amiibo, I'm saying. That was back when Toys R Us existed. Obviously, filed for bankruptcy in 2017, closed in 2018. But back in 2014, 2015, it was holding a lot of Amiibo. And we found a Captain Falcon at Toys R Us and 3 Little Macs. Little Mac was very rare. Like, I'm talking, these were freaking rare back then. So, we found 3 Little Macs. So, what did we do? We bought all 3 of them, of course. We bought this one to open up, and we also bought this one right here. I still have one of the other ones in the box. We got this at Toys R Us. This one's in decent shape. You can see right there. Got that from Toys R Us, and then we bought another one that my dad flipped on eBay because we needed the money, because they were expensive. So, we got that for that. So basically, and then we also got Captain Falcon. So these 2 sit on the shelf. They've been sitting on my shelf all these years together. They were sitting at the Toys R Us shelves together, and now they're right here together. These 2 figures have been with each other for 8 or 9 years now. These guys have been together forever, their entire lives basically. So You can't separate Captain Falcon and Little Mac. These two figures here. So you had Pit. You can tell the quality. Nintendo didn't really do a good job at painting the faces of some of the Amiibo back then compared to the modern ones. If you compare Pit's facial features to like a newer character like Byleth or something like that, it's really kind of But they did, I think they hand painted every single one of the Amiibo. So every single, like if I had multiple Pits, you could tell that his face, and same with Zelda, no two faces would be exactly the same. That's kind of an interesting thing to note there. But yeah, Luigi, Diddy Kong, Zelda, they were never a problem again, I don't think. Little Mac, Pit, and Captain Falcon are the three rarest from the second wave. So now we're moving on to the new year, February of 2015. Now this is where things started to go crazy. This is where Amiibo started to get insane. And this is when people started collecting them like crazy. So now we're into 2015. 2015, as far as Nintendo and gaming history goes, is the year of Amiibo. More Amiibo were released in 2015 than any other year since the starting. 2015 saw the release of most of the Smash Amiibo. Wave 3 was in February. They kicked it off strong. We had a whopping 11 figures released. And some of these were crazy. Now, Nintendo started to release store-exclusive Amiibo at this point, which they had never done before. Now, you had most of the Amiibo, a couple of these from this wave were not too hard to get. Sheik was not too hard to get. Bowser, Mega Man, and Sonic I don't think were too difficult. I remember getting them pretty easily. And then Toon Link as well. These ones here are insane. 4 of these are store exclusives. Besides DDD and Ike, which were definitely not common. They were nothing compared to these 4. These 4 were crazy. Some of the rarest Amiibo of all time. Now, by no means Ike and DDD were definitely hard to get, and I had to do some crazy Craigslist deals to get these. Nothing like these. So there was 4 store exclusive Amiibo from Wave 3. You had Lucario, who was exclusive to Toys R Us. You had Shulk, exclusive to GameStop. Meta Knight to Best Buy, and Rosalina and Luma to Target. Now, here's the problem with these. By the time we get into 2015, Amiibo start hitting it off really big. And Nintendo faces one of the greatest problems that you can ever face as a supplying company, a distribution company. A very high demand for a product, very low supply, which is bad for consumers. Basically, the store's websites for pre-orders for Wave 3 and especially Wave 4 would just completely crash. Like GameStop's pre-order website, they'd had to shut down the entire website because people were buying them like crazy. Like these would go on sale midnight of February, whatever, 2015. They would sell out in minutes. Every single one of them would. And basically, I've heard stories of people like, there's a story I heard of on YouTube way back in the day. Somebody going out to buy Meta Knight on launch day at Best Buy. And people were standing out in the freezing cold because it's February. It was like snowing on the ground. People waiting 3, 4, 5 hours before it opens. People getting up at 4 in the morning, waiting, camping outside at Best Buy so they can get Meta Knight. And turns out the store only gets like 2 in stock. But they probably got more. A lot of the times what happened was the store employees knew how popular these was. So say like I worked at GameStop, February 2015. GameStop gets like 5 Shulks in. Most of them, the employees got to buy first. So they would snag up the Amiibos and scalp them on eBay for ridiculous prices. And so the store would get like 2 of them in. And if you were like 5th in line, you're screwed. And you wasted all your time. So it was bad. The store exclusives made it even worse. Like I said, most of these were not hard to get. Most of these ones were not too difficult to get. These ones were very hard to get. Rosalina was insanely difficult. Now, you're probably asking, how did I get them? Well, basically, okay, first of all, let's just address the elephant in the room. Meta Knight does not have a sword here. Again, I was a kid. I used to play with them. My sister was a 4-year-old girl. I had a 4-year-old sister at the time. I have no idea what the heck happened to his sword. some point with us playing with the figures, it fell off, and Meta Knight doesn't have a sword. And I actually do not have a Smash Bros. Meta Knight in the box, so I do not have a mint condition Meta Knight. But I was able to buy a lot off this guy back in 2015. It was Craigslist. We had to drive to this guy's house, and I remember going into his house and he had a box full of 4 amiibo: Rosalina, Meta Knight, King DDD, and Gold Mario. Now, I'm not going to go into the whole Gold Mario spiel, but Gold Mario was completely... This was like a month later. Mario Party 10 comes out on the Wii U. Completely ridiculous. Now, I just remember all this because I was a Nintendo fan back in the Wii U days, and I know a lot of people watching this probably weren't. You're just learning stuff for the first time, but this was crazy time to be a Nintendo fan. And basically, Gold Mario, there was like 1,500 in the world. It was a Walmart exclusive, and there was a midnight release. That thing was so rare. It was the rarest amiibo at that time. I'm not even kidding. That easily was. And so I got that one. But yeah, these were crazy. So Wave 3 started the store exclusives. And then from there, it's starting to get insane. People are starting to get crazy for these things. And every wave that's going to come out, you better hope that you get lucky in stores. And this is when the term amiibo hunting starts to come up for the first time. Jumping ahead a little bit to the 4th wave, May of 2015. Now, on this day, 2015, when they released Wave 4, they also released the Splatoon series amiibo, and Splatoon on the Wii U also came out. Now, these were crazy. I had amiibo up to this point. When I first started collecting, Wave 3 was the newest wave for Smash. So these came out a couple months later. Now, I was like an 8-year-old kid back then. I wasn't very up to date on when stuff was coming out. So I just remember going to Toys R Us one time and seeing an entire shelf of amiibo that were basically sold out. And you could see, like it would say Wario and Pac-Man and Charizard on it, to where people had sold them. And people bought these up like crazy. Here's the thing about the Wave 4 amiibo is none of these were common. There were major shortages of every single amiibo in Wave 4. All of the websites crashed when these came out, and they barely restocked them up first. And this was when the demand is like at its peak. May 2015, this is crazy. So by the time these came out, Nintendo had no idea what they were dealing with consumers, and these got crazy. So Charizard, for those of you guys that don't know, Smash 4, Charizard was a solo character. He was not part of Pokemon Trainer. Charizard was his own character in Smash 4. So Charizard released. You also had Wario, Pac-Man, Ness, Robin, Lucina, Greninja, and Jigglypuff. Now, a couple store exclusives you had from Wave 4. Jigglypuff was a Target exclusive. Greninja was a GameStop exclusive. Ness, I believe, was... No. Greninja was a Toys R Us exclusive. Did I say GameStop? I don't know. Jigglypuff was a Target exclusive. Greninja to Toys R Us, and Ness to GameStop. And so these were all very rare and hard to get your hands on. So I was very fortunate to be able to get them. Not at the time. I got them several months later. But yeah, these ones were crazy here.
Reddit. I sold every unique amiibo I had to buy all Robins. This guy's obsessed with Robin. Look. It's not Robins.
That's this whole collection, just Robin.
Alright.
But yeah, so Robin and Lucina, 2 from Fire Emblem, Ness, Pac-Man, Wario, Charizard, Jigglypuff, and Greninja. Now, Amiibo had obviously like other uses in the Wii U era. You had Yoshi's Woolly World in Mario Maker 1, I remember specifically. Because in Yoshi's Woolly World, if you scanned it in Amiibo, there's like this Amiibo house you go to. I remember at my old house sitting in my bed as a really young kid and scanning in all of my Amiibo into the game and getting like, you could get like a costume of Yoshi. Like if you scanned in like a Greninja Amiibo to Yoshi's Woolly World, you could literally play as a Greninja Yoshi. Like that was a thing. And then obviously they did the Yarn Yoshi Amiibo. But and then in Mario Maker 1, you could scan in an Amiibo if you're playing in the Super Mario Bros. Style. So let's say I want to play as Charizard in Super Mario Maker. You can scan in Charizard, and it'll appear in a mystery mushroom power-up that you can sit wherever. You can put it in an item box or whatever, and you can literally play as Charizard in Mario Maker, or Wario, or Pac-Man, or even Lucina and Robin in Mario Maker. Like, it was sick. And then by the time the Switch era came around, they kind of stopped having good support. Amiibo were always cool. So that's wave 4. Smallest wave thus far, July 2015, Nintendo released just 2 Amiibo, and one of them was an Amazon exclusive, Palutena. So only one of these you could actually get in a retail store. Palutena was an Amazon exclusive. I remember she sold out quite a bit, but after a while you could get your hands on her. Palutena is the only Amazon exclusive, at least from the Smash series. And then Dark Pit was a Best Buy exclusive. So Wave 4 had no Best Buy exclusives, so you had Dark Pit. So you can only get these at certain stores. And a lot of people didn't even know they came out. Like, I didn't even know they came out. July 2015. So that was pretty interesting there. This is the first set of Amiibo that I actually got on launch day. Shout outs to my mom going out and getting these. I'll tell you the story here in a second, but Wave 6, which released in September 2015.
Mama Chiham. Yeah, shout out.
But basically, these came out on September 11th, 2015. It was the same day Super Mario Maker came out. And we had, this wave had several Amiibo. We had Bowser Jr., Ganondorf, Zero Suit Samus, Dr. Mario, Olimar, Rob, Mr. Game & Watch, and Duck Hunt. Now, couple store exclusives here, about 3 store exclusives, technically. Ganondorf, Zero Suit Samus, and Olimar were neutral to every store, and I remember getting these on launch day. My mom came home. I was at school that day, obviously. I was in 3rd grade at the time. My mom went to Toys R Us and waited in line with a bunch of nerds. Right, Mom? Mm-hmm. You want to tell the story? No. But apparently, and then she went in and got all the Amiibo that came out. Also got Super Mario Maker. So I was a 3rd grade kid, came home from school that day. I still remember this because I was so excited. Saw on the table, we had Bowser Jr., Olimar, Zero Suit Samus, Ganondorf, and the 8-bit Mario Amiibo and Super Mario Maker on the Wii U. Awesome. That was so cool. Anyways, Bowser Jr. was this is an interesting story too. Bowser Jr. was a Toys R Us exclusive. Dr. Mario was a Target exclusive. And then these 3 were GameStop exclusives, which came in what is known as the Retro 3-pack. The very first 3-pack that Smash Bros. Did. It wasn't the first ever 3-pack because Splatoon had done a 3-pack, but that was the first series case of Smash Bros. Where you had Amiibo come in separately. And this was the only way you could get these 3. In Japan, you could get them solo. I don't think they ever released Duck Hunt, Rob, Mr. Game & Watch solo in North America. Let me know down in the comments if they have, but I don't think they have. I know they released the Japanese Rob later on. But Bowser Jr. here. Now, as you can see, this is a red, so this is a re-released version of Bowser Jr. See, it's got the Switch in the back. But this is what they looked like at the time. And Bowser Jr., they re-released him in 2021 with Bowser's Fury. Mario 3D World was Bowser's Fury came out. So they released Bowser Jr. Before they did that, he was like the rarest Amiibo of all time. And a lot of these are still very valuable. This is Bowser Jr. here. And so I remember going to Toys R Us back in the day, right after Wave 6 came out, and just seeing a whole aisle Bowser Jr.'s. It's like, this guy is so common. Like, who would ever want to buy him?
100 of them.
There was easily 100 of them. Like, there would be the entire shelf full of them, and they would be like layers back. I went back to Toys R Us a little bit later. There was like 4 or 5 of them. I'm like, okay. Never saw them again. And so this was the original Bowser Jr. I had. And so I never saw him again after that. Bowser Jr. was like one of the rarest Amiibo on the market. Like I said, Toys R Us exclusive, so there you go. That's already rare enough. But yeah, Bowser Jr. always hold a special place in my heart because he's just the craze for him was insane. The retro 3-pack I remember getting a little bit later on. I remember going to GameStop and seeing the retro 3-pack sitting there on the wall. I would really like to get a retro 3-pack in the box, but I don't know how much that would cost. But it was really cool. Game & Watch is interesting because Game & Watch you could actually take apart. In the retro 3-pack, there was like 3 other like these things that you could put in the base. This was so long ago. I know I have them somewhere, but right now I kind of lost them at the moment. I know they're somewhere at my house. I think I have an idea where they are, but I don't really know 100% where they're at. And so you could basically like change Game & Watch, and he's the only Amiibo that you can do that with. So pretty interesting there. You can literally take Game & Watch out, you can put other Game & Watches in. So styles. But yeah, so that's Mr. Game & Watch. He's actually one of the more expensive Amiibo today. You also had Rob. These were released individually in Japan. You could get Duck Hunt individually, Game & Watch, and Rob individually in Japan, but you could not get this Rob. You could only get the gray Rob in North America. The Famicom Rob was released in Japan, which would come way later in 2016. They would release it in North America as a singular Amiibo. But these 3 you could only get as part of the Retro 3-pack. You could not get them alone, and I don't think they ever released them in English alone. So let me know in the comments if they have. I'm pretty sure they have. I think the only way you can get Game & Watch, Duck Hunt, Rob alone is the Japanese versions. Because in November of 2015, we had Wave 7, which was the last wave for the base roster of Smash 4. Now, by this point, every single Smash 4 character had been released as an Amiibo, with the exception of one, and that was Falco. So they dropped Falco in November 2015. They had the Mii Fighters, which came in a 3-pack as well. There was a Mii Fighter 3-pack. I remember getting those for Christmas one year. And then also Mewtwo. Now, Mewtwo was not in the base game of Smash 4. You actually had to buy Mewtwo for about $5.90, about $5 as DLC. Mewtwo had previously been in Smash Bros. Melee. Mewtwo was not in Brawl or Smash 4, but they did bring Mewtwo back. Remember they announced Mewtwo in the 50 Fact Extravaganza right before Smash 4 came out, so they announced Mewtwo. So Mewtwo was the very first Smash Bros. DLC character ever. So that was pretty cool. So Mewtwo did get his Amiibo. This time, the same time as Falco. For some reason, Falco they did not make until now. And then obviously the Mii Fighters. Which the Mii Fighters I always found weird as Amiibo, because the whole point of Amiibo is to customize your characters. And the entire point of the Mii Fighters in the game is to make your own custom Mii. So it's like, why would you ever want a Mii Fighter Amiibo? This doesn't really make any sense to me. But I don't know, there you go. And I guess they needed all the characters, so they made them. These are obviously the base outfits of them. You have Mii Brawler, Mii Sword Fighter, and Mii Gunner. Then obviously Falco and Mewtwo. So pretty cool there. There's Wave 7. Next up is January 2016. Now there was only one Amiibo released in Wave 8. At this point, they really stopped using the wave terms, because back in the early days, it was pretty good to use the wave terms, because you'd have like 6 or 7, 10, up to 12 Amiibo releasing at a time. Now there's only one. You had Lucas. Lucas was a DLC. He had previously been in Smash Bros. Brawl. He was not in the main roster of Smash 4. So they later added him as DLC, and they dropped his Amiibo in January of 2016. I don't remember him being too rare. By this point, Nintendo had kind of figured how to stock things well. And by the time I get into 2016, Amiibo started to become less popular than they were in 2015. They're still definitely very rare, but Nintendo's not releasing as many of them anymore as they were in 2015. But so that's why you're going to get Lucas. And every wave from now on is going to be somewhat small. Amiibo started to really start declining a little bit. Next up, we have Wave 9. We have 3 Amiibo released. I previously mentioned the Famicom version of Rob released only in Japan, and that was true in September 2015. 6 months later, in March 2016, they thought, hey, we might as well release the Famicom Rob in North America, so they did. So that's the Famicom Rob. They also released the last 2 DLC fighters from the first pack Roy from Fire Emblem, and Ryu from Street Fighter. Ryu was the very first Smash Bros. DLC character to be a new character, to not be brought back. Roy was brought back. Roy was in Melee, not in Brawl or the base roster of Smash where they brought Roy back. I remember getting Roy for my birthday in 2016. I remember Marlene got me that one as well. There's a picture somewhere of me with that as well. That was my 9th birthday. We moved into this house that year, 2016, but we moved here in August. I started my YouTube channel. This channel was started in 2016, a couple months later, about 4 months down the line. So this was just before that. That's what was going on. But yeah, so that's wave 9. A long time to release these. We're now up to July of 2017. We're going over a year with no Smash Bros. Amiibo released. Until July 2017. I didn't even realize these came out. I didn't even get these till later. I remember being in California, walking through a Target, and I remember coming across the Cloud, Core, and Bayonetta Amiibo. Now, for those of you guys that don't know how Smash DLC worked, they kind of released the first 4 DLC characters pretty quick after the game came out. Mewtwo, Lucas, Roy, and Ryu came out pretty quickly after the game came out. Later on in 2016, I think, they released the last 3 characters for Smash 4 DLC, which were Cloud, Corrin, and Bayonetta, which released, they were the last 3 for Smash 4 DLC. So they came out. Also, for the first time ever, they released the different variants for them. So for some reason, I don't know why Nintendo really decided to do this, but they did. They had Cloud Player 2, Corrin Player 2, and Bayonetta Player 2.
It's got super rare. The Player 2 made us why they did it.
Yeah, these were insanely rare. Corrin Player 2 was like $80 at one point out of the box. You could literally buy Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and the Corrin DLC for less than this piece of plastic. That is how ridiculous these got. Corrin Player 2 was insane. Bayonetta and Cloud were also pretty rare. I do have Cloud Player 2 in the box, but I didn't bring him down here. So I got these. These were pretty easy to get. So basically you would have like, here's how the costumes work. I think they decided to make a Player 2 Amiibo because when Sakurai was developing the game, he wanted the alternate costumes to be different. Because as you can see here, Cloud, it's very subtle. They had different renders in the game too. Cloud from Final Fantasy VII had this is his main outfit from Final Fantasy VII in here. His main alternate costume was the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children outfit. There's a separate version of Final Fantasy VII. It's called Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And this was that outfit that Cloud wore in that game. So you had like the 2 separate Cloud Amiibos. Cloud Player 1, Cloud Player 2. I think this was just called a Cloud though. I don't think it's just Cloud and Cloud Player 2. You had the same thing with Corrin. Corrin is from Fire Emblem Fates on the 3DS, and now we all know Sakurai is obsessed with Fire Emblem, and Fire Emblem Fates came out after Smash 4. Sakurai knew that he had to include Corrin in his game, so he did. So you had the male Corrin and then the female version of Corrin. Now the female version of Corrin is obviously superior to the male version. I mean, I don't know why you would ever play male Corrin. Female Corrin is way better. And they also do not have shoes on, so you can see their feet. I don't know if anybody ever noticed that, but Corrin does not wear their feet. It does not wear shoes. So there's just a little thing there. But Corrin Player 2 is insanely rare. And then you also had Bayonetta. There were 2 Bayonetta games up to this point released. You had the original Bayonetta, this is the OG. This is from Bayonetta 2, and then this is their outfit from Bayonetta 1. Bayonetta 1 was originally released as an Xbox 360 game back, I think, in 2013, or like 2010. And then Bayonetta 2 came out cross-console. I have Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U. I never really played it much. And then Bayonetta 3 came out a couple years ago as a Switch exclusive. So Bayonetta went from being a Microsoft character to a Nintendo character, technically. And so by this point, you can obviously tell Nintendo's releasing third-party characters. What I mean by third-party character is, in Smash Bros., all of these guys are Nintendo characters. So Nintendo has all the rights to add them into their game, because Smash Bros. Is a Nintendo game. But you had other characters who were from series that weren't Nintendo series, like Sonic, for example, Mega Man, and then Cloud and Bayonetta, who were not Nintendo characters. Cloud was Square Enix. Square Enix developed Final Fantasy. Nintendo was not part of that. And Bayonetta as well was not Nintendo. Next up is Wave 11. So, after those released in summer 2017, that was the last time that Smash 4 Amiibo released. And so now, if you know your history, in December of 2018, the Nintendo Switch had already been out by the time those came out. The Smash Bros. Game on the Switch, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, the greatest video game ever made, was released on December 7th, 2018. Alongside were these three Amiibo. You had Inkling, Ridley, and Wolf. Now, Ridley and Inkling were completely new characters. And the big thing about Ultimate was the Everyone is Here. Basically, Smash Bros. Ultimate, the big idea of the game was to bring back every single character that had ever been in any Smash game before, and Sakurai delivered. So in Ultimate, not only did you get figures of the new characters in Ultimate, you also got figures from the characters who were not in Smash 4. Now, not as many Amiibo released in the Ultimate era. A lot of the waves were smaller simply because majority of the characters in Ultimate were in Smash 4 and they already had Amiibo. So Nintendo didn't want to make new Amiibo for them because it really didn't make any sense to do that. So they just restocked a lot of the old ones. That's why some of them aren't as valuable anymore. And they also changed the box design. So here's an example. This is the new Ultimate design of the box. So they changed the logo. You have that. As you can see, previously on Smash 4, you had the Smash 4 logo here. This is a Wii Fit trainer from Smash 4. So the box changed. You got this white thing here. Now, this is how all the Ultimate ones will look, as opposed to the color just being consumed in the entire box. This one honestly flashes more, but I kind of like the old-fashioned bolt color. I don't know why, I just do. And then they added the red down here to the Amiibo sign. So just a little bit interesting thing there. And then the Smash Bros. Logo, that's obviously Ultimate. And then this is the Smash for Wii U logo. So pretty interesting there. Anyway, so that's Ridley. I did get Ridley in the box because I really like Ridley. When the game was coming out, I was really hyped to play as Ridley because Sakurai had always said, Ridley's too big for Smash because they didn't want to put him in, but then they put him in. So Inkling was very rare. I did not get Inkling. I was able to get Wolf and Ridley at stores. Actually, I think I pre-ordered Ridley. Came in the mail. And then we found Wolf at Best Buy at some point. And then Inkling, we had to eventually just buy online because you just could not find her anywhere. So, which was weird to me is they released the Player 2 variants for a lot of the Amiibo, especially in Ultimate. But they didn't release the Inkling Boy. They only released the Inkling Girl for Smash Bros., which was really weird. But you already had Inkling Boy Amiibo in the Splatoon series, but for Smash, they only released the Inkling one. This was a nice wave. Now we're heading into February of 2019. Another 3-wave. A lot of the Ultimate waves were all 3 Amiibo for the most part. We had King K. Rool. Oh, let me put this down. We had King K. Rool, Piranha Plant, and Ice Climbers. I was able to get these all on launch day at GameStop, so that was pretty nice. These are all cool. I like the design. You can tell the quality of these starting to get way better. Piranha Plant was a DLC character for Smash Ultimate, and I guess they had already been making the Amiibo before they announced him. That's why the Piranha Plant came out way earlier than any of the other DLC ones did. Then you also had Ice Climbers. This was a pretty good wave overall. This is one of the better waves because honestly, all these Amiibo are really neat. So even the Ice Climbers one. So obviously, Ice Climbers wasn't in Smash 4 because due to the 3DS limitations, couldn't handle 2 characters at once. So Ice Climbers was cut from Smash 4. So was Pokemon Trainer. So they had to make Charizard his own character, and then Zelda and Sheik were made to be separate characters. But they brought Ice Climbers back in Ultimate. Added Piranha Plant as DLC. Not Waluigi, but we got Piranha Plant. Oh my God. And King K. Rool. So, very cool wave there. Next up is Wave 13, which released in April of 2019 for Smash Ultimate. This wave's kind of lame, in my opinion. Not very cool characters. We had Young Link, Terry, and Ken and Daisy. By this point, Amiibo are just like, they're not that rare. If you wanted to get these, you probably could get them. They didn't do store exclusives anymore because the demand for Amiibo were way down by the time Ultimate came out. But Nintendo just figured that they might as well finish the series out. And so we had Young Link. He was previously in Melee. They brought him back. Ken and Daisy as brand new Echo Fighters to both Peach and Ryu, respectively. So, really not much else to say about those. I got them all on launch as well. Moving on to Wave 14 in July of 2019. We had Pokemon Trainer release, and then Isabelle and Pichu. Now you could already, the thing about Pokemon Trainer is you could already get him in the game before in Smash Ultimate. If you were to scan Charizard in, you could get Pokemon Trainer. So the Pokemon Trainer Amiibo is really not needed if you're just going to use it in the game specifically. But by the time the Switch came out, we got into the Switch era of Nintendo. By this point, 2019, Amiibo just became like really just useless in the games. Like there's a decent amount of Switch games that have some Amiibo support, but a lot of them are really just not very good. I mean, the Wii U had Amiibo support for a lot of their games, and the Amiibo were actually like nice little things to have. I mean, you didn't need them, but they were cool to have. Like, if you want to have a Yarn Yoshi outfit or a Mario Maker outfit, you could get them. So we had Isabelle, the Smash Isabelle. This one was very rare. Pichu and Pokemon Trainer. I could not get Isabelle. Isabelle was one of the ones that I did not have for a long time. I had to eventually buy that one online as well. And then there's Pichu here. We're getting to the point where if you don't, a lot of these, they didn't have multiple restocks of them. So like Isabelle and stuff, if you miss those on launch day, good luck getting them because they ain't going to restock them. You're basically screwed if you don't get them on launch day. And that happened to me with some of the later DLC characters. Yeah, you're going to have to buy them online for a stupid price. Moving on to Wave 15. I also got these on launch. I got all the Ultimate ones on launch. We had Snake, Ivysaur, and Squirtle. Now, Ivysaur and Squirtle are already part of the Pokemon Trainer, but they just made them because Charizard already had them. Squirtle's shell is like really shiny. So I just thought I'd say that because it's like really shiny. But anyway, that's how that is. Ivysaur also released him, and then Snake. Snake is awesome. Snake was in Smash Bros. Brawl, and everybody was like so like freaking out when they saw he was coming back in Ultimate. So he's from Metal Gear Solid. Solid Snake. And then you also had the two Pokemon Trainer ones, Squirtle and Ivysaur. So pretty cool. They have that is Wave 15, September 2019. Moving on to the last wave of 2019. This is the last wave, and this is not the last wave for the base roster, second to last wave for the base roster. We have Simon Belmont, Incineroar, and Chrom. Now, a lot of these are really cool design. Look at Simon. Like, you can just take a look. The whip is just like all around him, and it's I do his arm and stuff. It's really cool looking. Also Incineroar they released, who's also new to Smash Bros. Ultimate, and then Chrom. Which Chrom, although he's a Fire Emblem character, he's one of the cooler looking Fire Emblem Amiibo. So it was good that they released Chrom in a wave of 3, because if they didn't, I don't really care for Chrom too much, but his cape's definitely doing something. Then Incineroar is obviously so cool. I mean, he's freaking Incineroar, you gotta love him. Moving on to the next decade, January 2020. Now, I forgot to mention about a lot of the Fire Emblem characters. I'm pretty fortunate that a lot of mine, especially like Ike here, there was a lot of reports like when he came out that it was really common for his sword to be bent. Luckily, mine is like in pretty good shape, but so I just thought I'd say that because that was a big thing coming out as well. January 2020. These came out ironically the day before I posted the first episode of Characterverse Arena. Now, if you are new to the channel, you probably don't know what Characterverse Arena is. It was a long-running series that I did like episodes every Saturday, playing as every single character in Smash for like 3 years. I did like every week for 3 years of that series, so that was crazy. This came out January 17th of 2020. By this point, I'm like 12, almost 13 now, so I've been collecting these for a while. Here's Richter from Castlevania and Dark Samus. These are very intricate, as you can see here. Like, look at that Dark Samus. Take a close up to that. That is one of the most detailed amiibos. The Dark Samus is like, look at it. It's crazy. Even Richter. Look at that thing. That is detailed. Now that amiibo, they're way higher quality than the older ones, and you can tell that gun arm isn't just going to come off if you bend it too much like Samus's did. There's regular Samus. You got Dark Samus. And then even Richter, you can see his facial paint. Definitely way better quality than the Smash 4 ones. They definitely put more work into these, designing these amiibo. Which made sense because they weren't rushing them out as fast and there weren't as many characters. But they definitely knew how to design it by this point. But that is true. They used to be $12.99 at retail when they first came out. The old ones, and now they're $15.99.
What are you doing?
Hit my head on that.
Jeez.
I wonder if that got in the film. Ow.
Did you cut it?
Throat's starting to hurt. Been doing this for a while now. I've been sitting here probably over an hour. October 2020, Nintendo, not just Smash alone. Nintendo only released 4 amiibo in 2020, which were the last wave and this wave. Wave 18, we have Joker and Hero, which were the very first from Smash Ultimate DLC Fighter Pass 1 amiibo to release. So I remember getting these. This was the day that I think I got my cast off that day. So that was pretty interesting. I broke my arm at some point around that time, and I got my cast off that day. It was like October 2nd of 2020. And so I got Joker and Hero. Joker is one of my favorite amiibo, to be honest with you, because look at the fire he's got underneath him. It's just really cool design. We get a close up of Joker because we might as well, because Joker deserves a close up. And then Hero obviously is pretty cool as well. Now, Sakurai, by this point, when these came out, as you know, Sakurai spaced out the DLC for Ultimate like 3 years after the game came out. The last character to come out in Smash was Sora, way later in October 2021, a year after these amiibo came out. And Sakurai just kept putting more and more fighters and characters into the game, and those amiibo kept releasing over the next couple years. Next up is Wave 19. We have the last 3 from Fighter Pass 1 were all released in March of 2021. Sorry for the plug, I actually did a video unboxing these in the woods over there back in the day. And so, old Plush Bros Revolution video. So as you can see, we have Banjo-Kazooie, Terry, and Byleth. Byleth obviously being from Fire Emblem 3 Houses because Smash Ultimate was already out by the time Fire Emblem 3 Houses came out, so Sakurai knew he had to put Byleth in the game. And Banjo-Kazooie is pretty cool. I freaked out when Banjo was announced. I remember that. That was sweet. And then Terry, Bogard, Fatal Fury. All came out in 2021. The only wave from 2021 for Smash Bros. But these are all really cool. Next up, we're heading into 2022. We had over a year now without amiibo release. We have Wave 20 with Min Min. Min Min released in April of 2022 by herself. I mean, she looks pretty cool. I mean, her design is pretty detailed. First Fighter Pass 2 amiibo. You can get a closer look to her. Min Min obviously sucks that she's in the game because I hate Min Min, but hate that she's in the game, hate her as a character. I hate playing as her and I hate playing against her, but she's still pretty cool. Either that or we broke it. I don't know why that would be made like
They
that.
shoot out on the game?
Well, this does.
Oh.
I wonder if this comes off. All right, so that's Min Min, Wave 20. Next up is Wave 21, which released in September of 2022. It's the Steve and Alex Amiibo. These released in 2 packs. Literally, I hear you. I hate Minecraft. These two, you can actually still find today in stores. These are actually pretty common. They still make these because Minecraft's obviously got high demand. I mean, it's pretty crazy that Steve got in Smash and that Steve has an Amiibo figure, but it's just really weird. So that's Wave 21. Steve and Alex were released. Alright, moving on to 2023. Yeah, we've come a long way so far. Wave 22, January 2023. So we have Kazuya and Sephiroth. Now, I didn't even realize these came out when they did, so I didn't get them till later. I didn't even get Sephiroth till like Christmas last year, like a couple months ago. I was out of the Ohio State Honor Band that day, and I completely forgot they came out. And Kazuya, you could find him. Sephiroth was completely gone. You could never find him from any store ever. Sephiroth is really cool. He's one of my favorite Amiibo. We looked for him for a year, literally not even kidding. I never did. We ended up buying him online. And then Kazuya as well. Now these are some of the later Fire Pass 2 Amiibo. These came out in like 2020, 2021 as characters in Smash Bros. And 2. To Wave 23. Now I actually don't have these opened up because these are like really expensive and I didn't really want to open them up. This is Pyra and Mithra. Now what's really weird, you're probably like, how did Pyra and Mithra release after Kazuya? Because in Smash Bros, Pyra and Mithra actually came out before Kazuya did. The Wave Fire Pass 2 was Min Min, Steve, Sephiroth, then Pyra and Mithra, and then Kazuya, and then Sora, obviously. But these came out as a 2-pack. I think you can only get them as a 2-pack. I mean, they were like swappable figures. Now, this makes sense. If they were going to do this for Cloud, I think they should have made like Cloud, Corn, and Bayonetta, like they should have made 2-packs for them, for the player too, instead of having them as their own figures. And so this was really cool. I'm glad they did the 2-pack because it made it less of a hassle. But yeah, this is what they look like in the box. And I don't really feel like opening them up because unless I can get more of them and I can open those. But yeah, I'll just plan on keeping them in the box for now. This came out in July of 2023 as Wave 22. Or 23, Wave 23. Now for the very last Smash Amiibo, which just came out last week. I got them at Best Buy. Most stores didn't even stock it. Sora Amiibo came out February 2024. We have Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Now the reason it took him this long to get Sora is because Disney, I guess, is owned by, or Sora's owned by Disney, and I guess Disney was really stingy about getting Amiibo like products from Sora, and so it took him this long for him to get an Amiibo character. But actually, it's interesting to note, even during the Smash 4 to Ultimate shift, there was one wave from 2017, one wave from 2018. One wave from 2023, or 2 from 2023, 1 from 2021. Every year between 2014 and 2024, there has been Smash Amiibo release. 2025 is going to be the first year in history since the start to not have a Smash Bros. Amiibo release. So that's pretty interesting. So that is every single Super Smash Bros. Series Amiibo. And thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Do you have a big collection of Amiibo? Have you never heard of them before? You only have a couple? Let me know which Amiibo was your favorite, and if you have any memories of collecting Amiibo back in the peak of its prime, let me know, and what your favorite Amiibo is, and hopefully Nintendo continues to release them because I'm not sure how much longer they will, but there's already, Splatoon 3's had some Amiibo, and hopefully when we get Smash 6, whenever we do a couple years down the line, they bring back Amiibo and have some more Amiibo characters released, because I'll always be down to collect them. I always want to have the whole set. So, yep, this was very fun. I've enjoyed collecting this series the last 9 years, and I finally got them all. So, thank you guys for watching. Be sure to comment, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.